Good afternoon. Call to order the regular meeting of Ascension Parish Council, October 17th, 6 p.m. at the Gonzales Courthouse. First off, we've got roll call. We are missing Mr. Turner, Mr. Robert, Mr. Varnado, Mr. Arsenault, and Mr. Melanson at this time. For the chair's additions, we have none, and I'm going to need to do a belated invocation and pledge. OJ, can you help us out on that one?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dear Lord, bow our hand. Dear Lord, bless this great country, bless this great state, bless this great parish. And oh Lord, bless all the members who are here tonight to make the right decision for this parish. And most of all, oh Lord, bless all the armed forces service members who are serving to give us the freedom we have today. Thank you, sir. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, agenda item number 4, public comment sign-in period. If there is an agenda item on which you would like to speak, please fill out either a green or a red form. Turn it into our council secretary when you are complete. Parish President's report. Mrs. Phillips.
Good evening, Council. Just a couple updates. We are continuing with our debris removal. All remaining debris needs to be placed in the right-of-way, not in drainage servitudes, please, and still separated by regular debris, vegetative versus construction. We're going to begin our second pass from the post-storm roadside this Saturday. The teams are working really hard to get our whole parish cleaned up, so we're asking that people register their addresses or call the call center at 450-1200 to make sure that we get your location marked. And then the Disaster Recovery Center relocated from the Lemon Center over to Lamar-Dixon this past Tuesday. Any residents with questions for FEMA is welcome to come Monday through Thursday, 8 to 5. It is closed on Sundays. While they were in Donaldsonville, they served 309 residents. And a reminder that DOTD is still picking up state highways, so they are still responsible for that. We got our numbers back from our Household Hazardous Materials Collection Day. We served 425 vehicles. We had 380 gallons of paint, 642 tires, a net weight of 1,540 pounds of batteries, 10,840 pounds of sheet metal. And the next events will begin again in 2025. It'll be May 3rd and September 13th. A reminder, tomorrow is the Donaldsonville Sock Hop at the Lemon Center from 11 to 2, which is graciously being sponsored by our Councilman Joseph Oliver. Thank you, Oliver Joseph, I'm sorry. And this Saturday, the Ascension Veterans Memorial Park, they have received a generous grant from the Home Depot Foundation to help refurbish the park for Veterans Day, so that will be taking place this Saturday, the 19th. And as a reminder, early voting starts tomorrow and ends on October 29th. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. I appreciate it. And now on to item number 6, the consent agenda. Ms. Cinnamon, when you're ready.
Adoption of September 19th, 2024 regular council meeting minutes. Adoption of October 3rd, 2024 regular council meeting minutes. Approval of resolution to approve funding for the New River Stormwater Management Pump Station project by allocation of funds from the Mega Fund in the amount of $15 million. Approval of renewal of the cooperative endeavor agreement with Ascension Economic Development Corporation to promote, encourage, and develop industry and commerce in the parish of Ascension, and for the purpose of providing and serving the residents of Ascension Parish with greater economy and efficiency related to economic development within the parish. Total agreement amount not to exceed $322,800. Approval of renewal of the cooperative endeavor agreement between the parish, Fire District Number 3 and Prairieville Fire Department for the compensation of part-time firefighters for the 2025 calendar year. Total agreement amount not to exceed $490,000. Approval of renewal of the master services contract with Lofton Industrial Services for temporary staffing. Total contract amount not to exceed $125,000. Approval of amendment number 1 to the maintenance agreement with the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development Office of Engineering for mowing and litter pickup to increase the stipulated minimum number of maintenance cycles in fiscal year '25 from 4 to 5. This agreement is DOTD funded. Approval of addendum number 2 to AIA document B-133 with Grace Bear Curtis Architects for the Ascension Parish Courthouse construction. This contract came in under budget at $150,000. Therefore, the new not-to-exceed amount of the contract is being reduced from $180,000 to $151,404.85, which includes reimbursable expenses in the amount of $1,404.85. Approval of amendment number 1 to the master contract for professional services with McKinnon Creed for the water sector program. This amendment only extends the term of the project through September 25th, 25, and is retroactive to September 25th, 24, and does not affect the original contract price. Approval of change order number 9, Hendrick Construction, for the PR 929 and Parker Road Roundabout Project in the Move Ascension Program, Project H 006457.6, for partial project acceptance. This change order value is 0. The total contract amount remains unchanged at $2,597,730.94. Approval of renewal of the legal services contract with Larry Buqua for real estate acquisitions and miscellaneous land-related work. Total contract amount not to exceed $50,000. Approval of renewal of the legal services contract with Stemmons and Alley to represent the parish in insurance litigation, including workers' compensation and any other legal matters necessary. Total contract amount not to exceed $45,000. Approval of renewal of the legal services contract with Jeff Diaz for legal advice, advisory opinions, counsel, and legal assistance to the parish president and staff and administrators of the executive office on an as-needed basis, on-call continuing basis. Total contract amount not to exceed $90,000. Approval of renewal of the legal services contract with Lede Law Group as counsel for Allen Borough versus Ascension Parish Council, DeLacy Joseph versus Ascension Parish, and use of his services on any further personnel or employment issues or lawsuits against Ascension Parish government. Total contract amount not to exceed $60,000.
All right. Also, I'd like to make note that Mr. Turner and Mr. Robert are here and present. On the consent agenda, would anyone like to remove an item for further discussion? Nope.
Motion to move consent agenda.
Motion moved by Mr. Mason. Need a second. Second by Ms. Alonso. Any objections? Any questions? Hearing none. All right, on to item 7A, budget presentation and approval to introduce the 2024 amended and 2025 budgets. Council, I'll need a motion to introduce.
Well, you got a letter.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you're ready, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. I'm here to present the parish president's proposed amendments to the existing 2024 budget as well as the proposed 2025 budget. You each should have a copy of the draft budget book as well as the presentation that I will go over. I would also like to take a moment to thank the administration for their help with this that they provided during this budget process, as well as the various departments who attended countless meetings with us. I would also like to recognize and thank the finance staff, especially Ashley Barnes, Jamie Villeneuve, Tony Urso, and Amanda Barat, for their hard work, dedication, and assistance with the budget. It takes months for us to complete this process. So we will go over the presentation that is in front of you. If you turn to page 2, this is just a recap of the finance awards that we have consecutively received. We received the Distinguished Budget Award for the 13th year, as well as the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting for the 15th year. Page 3 gives you a budget timeline, which this is driven by our charter as well as state law. This is the process that we go through for preparing, presenting, and adopting the budget. Page 4 shows you the population growth of Ascension Parish, which since 2010, we've had about a 22.7% increase to where we are at the end of 2023. Page 5 gives you the actual parish revenues for 2023. As you can see, our highest amount was for taxes for $123.4 million. The next following was miscellaneous revenues and then intergovernmental. Our miscellaneous revenues are comprised of service fees, water revenues, interest income, insurance premiums, and event rentals, event revenues, as well as RV rentals. Some of the intergovernmental revenues that we receive are parish transportation funds, state revenue sharing, and the fire insurance rebate. We have received a total of $176 million. Page 6 shows you a breakdown of our tax categories, which are between sales, ad valorem, and other taxes. You can see that for 2024 amended, we're projected to receive about $77.5 million in sales tax revenues and about $78 million in 2025, and along with the property taxes, which are running about $41.6 million for the next 2 years. So page 7 gives you a budget comparison, which this comprises of a lot of data on the back end. These are just the total numbers, and you can see we're comparing 2023 actual to the 2024 original and 2024 amended budget, as well as then to the 2025 proposed. And then we have a column that shows you which sections went over or under the budget compared to 2024. We'll be happy to give you some background information on this, but there are a lot of details, so if you want to call our office, we can outline or give you line by line which departments or which funds had a difference in between the 2 years. Page 8 shows our historical spending, and you can see that in 2025, we're projecting to spend a total between operating and capital of $281 million. Of that, almost $116 million is capital, and $165.5 million is operating. So page 9 shows you where we spend our operating funds. The highest number, of course, at $40.2 million is general government. That includes judicial, the courts, justice of the peace and constables, the coroner, legislative, administrative functions such as IT, finance, purchasing, maintenance, and the insurance fund. The next we have health and welfare, which covers our health unit, our mental health unit, the building department, planning, council on aging, and utilities funds. And of course, we have public works with drainage at $30.4 million, and then we have public safety at $21.9, road and bridge at $10 million, and then recreation at about $5.3, and then your debt service at $10 million. Page 10 gives you just a brief overview of some things that are included in this budget. Maintenance of our buildings based on planning, COLA and merit funding of 7%, renovations to Courthouse West building in Donaldsonville, and the beginning of a construction of the new Animal Services Center. Also, we have our 5-year plan, which includes revenues, and it shows our significant capital investment over the next 5 years with drainage, road construction, and recreation. And of course, we always continue to seek more grant opportunities. So page 11 just tells you which pages of the draft book our 5-year capital plan is on. And remember that it's simply a plan, and all future appropriations must be approved in the ensuing budgets. Page 12 gives you a list of each of the capital funds and what we plan to spend or budget to spend in 2025, and you can see that list there. The total is almost $116 million. So the next steps, this is your time to review the budget over the next month. We will adopt the budget November 21st at that council meeting. As always, you can contact myself or my staff, and we will be happy to meet with you to go over any questions you might have on any different funds or any questions you have in general about the process. And also remember that our finance department website will include this budget book as well as prior budget books. We have the comprehensive annual financial statements on there, and then there's the links to open finance. So this is just a presentation, but if you have any questions, please feel free to call us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Ms. Phillips?
Yeah, I just wanted to personally thank our finance department for all the hard work that they put into this. I sat in on hours upon hours of meetings, less than they did, of course. And their intricate knowledge of what we've done in the past, where we're going, how we get there is really just unbelievable, their knowledge and their team that works on this. So
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll need a motion to introduce. Motion, Mr. Hillingsbeck. Any objection, anyone? Hearing none. All right, on to item 7B. Approval of Halloween hours, Thursday, October 31st, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Mason. Second by Mr. Cullen. Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none. Item 7C, approval of amendment number 2 to the professional service contract with DRC Emergency Services LLC for emergency debris removal and related services to revise Exhibits A and B to add language, all tipping fees shall be reimbursed at cost, no markup allowed. To add a line item to Phase 1, collection, hauling to staging site, reduction, and to convert unit ton to cubic yard in Phase 2, loading and hauling reductions to a final disposition site.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mason. Second by Mr. Hillingsbeck. Any questions? Any objection? Hearing none. Item 7D, approval to accept fiscal year 2024 Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $56,438.85. Motion by Ms. Alonso, second by Mr. Mason. Any questions? Any objection? Hearing none. Item 7E, approval to accept award for the fiscal year 2024 Homeland Security Grant Program in the amount of $60,265.36. Motion, Mr. Hillingsbeck.
Second.
Second, Mr. Mason. Any questions? Any objection? Hearing none. Item 7F, approval of an intergovernmental agreement between Ascension Parish Government, the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office, and the East Ascension Consolidated Gravity Drainage District Number 1 for the use and hauling of dirt and materials from various APSO construction site locations to the former La Lumina plant as part of the closure plan outlined in the intergovernmental agreement with LDEQ. Motion, Mr. Robert. Second, Mr. Oliver. Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none. Item 7G, I will have a speaker at the end of this. Approval of intergovernmental agreement between Ascension Parish Government and the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office to authorize the Sheriff's Office to proceed with the permit process to build a communication tower with special stipulations that shall run with the land and be of personal obligation to each party in order to provide for the overall safety, welfare, and protection of the citizens of Ascension Parish. One second. Mr. Patrick Carpenter. Thank you, sir. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. I'm Patrick Carpenter, Deputy Fire Chief, Ascension Parish Fire District 3. Thanks for your time allowing me to speak tonight. I just want to speak on behalf of this tower. In agreement with the Sheriff's Office, this is actually going to help our radio communications in the northern end of the district. As the area has developed and grown, the larger buildings were having trouble with radio reception, and this will definitely help our issues. Thank you for your time.
Okay, I appreciate you speaking. Thank you. All right, I've got a motion by Mr. Hillingsbeck. Second by Mr. Cullen. Any questions? Any objections? Hearing none. All right, on to item 8A, introduction of ordinances. A, introduction of ordinance for East Ascension Drainage District Number 1 to acquire a parcel of immovable property situated in the Parish of Ascension in Section 32, Township 8 South, Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District of Louisiana, designated as Lot E1, containing 13.0 acres, for the price of $767,000 plus closing cost for regional detention for the Parish Floodplain Management Plan.
Motion introduced.
Motion introduced by Mr. Mason. Item 8B, introduction of ordinance to revoke an existing 15-foot servitude located across the eastern portion of Tract 1-A-3-A of the Joseph Kernan et al.'s property moved to council agenda via UDC 17.4050. Motion introduced by Mr. Robert. Item 8C, introduction of ordinance, approval to amend the Ascension Parish Code of Ordinances, Chapter 5, Animal and Fowl, Article 3, Animal Control, to clarify language related to registration and rabies tags and to align the ordinance language with state statute.
Motion introduced.
Motion introduced by Mr. Mason. Item 8D, introduction of ordinance declaring surplus and authorization of the sale and/or transfer of miscellaneous movable equipment. Motion introduced by Mr. Hillingsbeck. All right, Mr. Robert, 1 second. Go ahead.
I don't know who I'm asking. Okay. Any idea of the type of miscellaneous or the value of this equipment or where it's coming from?
Actually, I do not have the list in front of me, but I can get that and send it to you tomorrow.
No big deal, just.
Okay, I think it's like 4 items that we're trying to, and I think one is actually a trailer that we have declared that the East Ascension Drainage purchased with a property purchase, so we're declaring that surplus so that we can auction that off.
Absolutely.
But I'll find out what the other 3 items are.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
That's all, Chair, thank you.
All good, Mr. Robert? I appreciate it. So I had a motion introduced by Mr. Hillingsback, correct? All right, good. We're on to 9A. Reading of an ordinance to purchase a .85 acre tract of property located at 42060 Church Point Road at a price of not to exceed $100,000 for the purpose of the relocation of the DPWE recycling facility. Mr. DuPatti.
Purpose, to acquire parcel movable property being a portion of Lot 1 of the Ambrose Poche Estate located in Section 22, Township 9 South, Range 3E, Southeastern Land District, east of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, for the price of $95,000 plus the cost of closing the Bill Recycling Center. Whereas Ascension Parish government desires to acquire certain movable property, and whereas there is a need and public purpose for the acquisition of certain movable property for Ascension Parish government, and whereas Ascension Parish government does hereby desire to acquire the property, servitudes, and/or rights of ways, and authorizes the office of the parish president to do whatever is necessary to enter into these negotiations and acquire said property, and therefore be it ordained by the Ascension Parish governing authority authorizes the purchase of the parcel of property being a portion of Lot 1 of the Ambrose Poche Estate located in Section 22, Township 9, South Range 3 East, Southeastern Land District, east of the Mississippi River, Ascension Parish, Louisiana, for the price of $95,000, plus the cost of closing to build a new recycling center, as more fully described in Exhibit A and Exhibit B attached here to and made part hereof. This ordinance is being adopted in conformity with Section 601 of the Ascension Parish Charter. The purchase of the property is subject to approval by the parish attorney and contingent upon the seller being able to deliver a merchantable title. Clint Coymore, Parish President, is hereby authorized to sign all necessary documents on behalf of the parish for the purchase of the property. The ordinance has been submitted to a vote. The vote is as follows.
Motion to open public hearing.
Motion opened by Mr. Mason,
You got a second.
second by Mr. Robert. Motion to close by Ms. Alonso, second by Mr. Hillingsback. We do have a question, Mr. Robert.
This is for Mr. DuPatti, I guess. Mr. DuPatti, maybe. From what you were reading, it said $90,000 and $5,000 plus closing cost. And I'm just wondering if plus that closing cost will have enough with a maximum of $100,000.
It can't go over that.
That's my point, and it sounds like it could go over that.
If it does, then it'd have to come back before the council.
Well, that's why I'm kind of bringing this up to you. Should we maybe do 105 just to cover that closing cost on here?
Ms. Phillips.
There's been discussions with the owner regarding the purchase of the property, and it is not anticipated to go over $100,000. We actually think that it would be less than that. And that's the appraisal price that came in lower, so we left ourselves a little bit of room.
Fair enough. All right, thank you.
Motion to move the ordinance.
Motion to move by Mr. Mason,
Somebody second my motion.
somebody second Mr. Mason, please. Second by Mr. Hillingsback. Any questions? Any objection? Hearing none.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Mason. Objection by Mr. Robert. Oh,
Like what?
okay, do we have a second?
think you could
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Hillingsback. We are.